Hey everyone, Dan here. I have IDEX for us today. Somebody had requested that I do an analysis on IDEX to see what was going on. It's actually a really interesting chart. I've only played IDEX once that I recall, and that was, several months ago. I think I had a call option as it was going nuts, but I didn't really know anything about it at the time. But the chart is really interesting. So this is the 1 hour chart, and as we sit here today, we're at $3.25, as indicated by this green price marker there. These are all of the price targets that I have identified, all of these magnetic zones and friction points, especially identified by the boxes. So we can go through that. I do want to I do want to request that if you enjoy this video that you like and subscribe, because that really helps, and I'm trying to remember to say that in the beginning of the videos instead of the end, so I'm saying it now. So please do that if you enjoy it, and just know that it really helps. I appreciate it. So let's dive in. I do want to back it up to sort of show how wild the chart is. This is the weekly time frame, and there's all these ridiculously wild swings, like these spikes that happen with IDEX, which is just crazy. And so, one thing to note here is this top trend line on the weekly, which this is stretching back to 2014. So take that for what you will. But if we hit our recent top here in 2021, we are obviously descending. Lower highs, and let's see where the trend on our lows goes. Yeah, through at least, mid 2020, we were lower lows. What I do think is a good sign is, all of these swings were very fast, and there wasn't really these steps up that you want to see in order to have something more sustained. And so if I flip to the daily, it'll give you a better indication of what this most recent upswing looks like. But this is the last one. This was in June 2020, and then this was in November of 2020. I guess that's actually the last one. But if we, condense the time frame like this trend line is actually on an uptick, so that's good. These higher highs, right? And not only that, but this came down and then just swung up. It had a little jitterbug here, but then it just spiked, came down. And then, this one was incredible, just spiked and came down. Now, the sort of steps leading up to this 553 spike that happened, I guess, around Feb 5, you had a step up and a nice retracement. A step up, I guess, up to here, and a nice retracement. And this is indicative of a more healthy uptrend. You want to see these sort of, it goes up and then it retraces to some sort of predictable, or maybe not even a predictable point, but that it's continuously making these higher highs and higher lows, and it's this sort of stairwell sort of configuration that it makes. And this did that, which is different from previous runs that it's had. So I'm thinking, it might be sort of the maturity of the company. There might be something to it in terms of, what the company is able to sustain in terms of a lengthier bullish run at this point instead of these wild ups and downs. But here's where I see us today. I do think that you're going to want to hold, and again, we're at $3.25. I do think you're going to want to hold this $3.07. I'm not in this play, but if I was, I'd really be looking at this $2.95 is my like absolute cut loss, like right under that, so maybe at $2.90. But I'd really be looking if it does come back to this $3.07 level to see what it does. And that's predominantly because there was this huge consolidation zone here before its most recent upswing. And so, I wouldn't want to see it sort of drop below this previous consolidation zone that preceded this spike in price. I think that that's a sign of weakness, and it would be challenging to hold through that. I definitely wouldn't enter the trade, since I'm not in it now. I definitely wouldn't enter it if it couldn't hold this $3.07. But as you see, it has been, right? It comes into that zone. This $3.07 isn't the exact price target per se. There's like a slight zone. That's why these boxes, they contain several price points that are sort of surrounding that central price point. So, have a little bit of flexibility here. This isn't as black and white, but every time that it has dipped below this recently, it has reestablished support above 307. So if it can sustain that, I think that its next major challenges will be this $3.35 mark right here. That's where we are today, but it's really got to break that most recent high. It shouldn't double top there, especially if it breaks down back below the 307. And then I think we're looking at $3.73. I think this is an okay range. I mean, most of the price action has been in the relatively recent past. So I think, there may or may not be really tough resistance there. I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of blew through that zone. But I do think it'll have a harder time at this $4.05 range, predominantly because this solidified this uptrend here. This held as it tried to come back down here. It consolidated as it was dropping. It consolidated here again, and it acted as resistance as it tried to sort of reverse the downtrend here. So I think that'll continue to be a pretty challenging point. If you establish over 4.055, I think you're probably looking pretty good. I have a zone here in 436 and 454. But I really think that, that 454 is the next actual important target. And then I think that I drew this box here because I actually think that these price zones, this $4.78 and $4.85, I think that zone, I mean, it's very tight, but I think that'll be very, very challenging to get through, actually. I think that it's going to be met with a lot of resistance. You might see it retrace back down to, this, I don't know, maybe the 454, probably more likely the 436, and then start hitting resistance at the 454 again. And then I think, if you are able to reestablish support and move back up, anything above $5 here, so these three price targets above $5, I think each of them will be a challenge to get through. But just know that also means if you get through them, you should have more sustained and true support than you've seen in the past. I do think that this bullish run overall has better promise than the ones previous to it. And so that should mean as we sort of find a floor here and can kick this downtrend, that the bullish run that we'll see subsequent to this may be more sustained and long-lasting. So it's interesting. I'll probably keep an eye on it to just sort of see what it does at this 307 and 335 level. And, might consider getting in, especially if it can break that 374 level and sustain that as support. Then it would start to be really interesting to me. But in any case, if you're in this, good luck. And if you get into it, good luck. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.